welcome back to my channel. I took off my nose because if I put this on, I kind of sound like I'm congested. So I'm just gonna pull this off right now. This is the look I've come up with for this video. I actually got inspired looking at masks online, and I saw this really cool mask. I'll show you what the picture looks like later on in the video. But I saw this really cool mask and I was like, holy crap, I really want to recreate that look. So I really tried my best to do that. The only thing that kind of got goofed up during the video was making these bottom teeth. It was just so hard, but I got through it and I think it turned out okay. So if you want to see how I did this look, please keep watching and I will see you in a little bit. Bye.
So first I started out with Mehron's Clown White makeup, and I just used a beauty sponge, just one of those regular triangle makeup sponges. And then I used a Mehron setting powder and put it on like a puff and pat it all over my face to set it. I don't know what this weird semicircle thing is on my face, but it worked out in the end, so oh well. Alright, then I took this eyeliner pencil and started drawing out the shape of my mouth. So on one side of my face, I took it all the way up, and then on the other side, I didn't, fully form the mouth because that's the part we're going to be using latex on, which is also why I don't have paint on my face. I should have said that earlier, but now you know. Alright, so this step isn't necessarily anything you have to do. It's just something that I do because it makes me feel better. And I'm just really mapping out where I want my teeth to go with just a really pale yellow. I pick a light color because I'm going to trace over them with a darker color anyway, and it's just easier to trace over a light color. But if you don't want to do this step and you just feel like just tracing the outlines of your teeth, feel free to. It's just something I do. It just makes me feel good, kind of like a safety net. So after you map out your teeth, if you chose to do so, we're going to start filling in our lips. The color I chose for my lips is green, and that's only because that's what color they were on the mask that I was looking at, but you can choose any color you want. The only thing that I would advise you to do is don't fill in all the space with your green. Leave a little space where you want your gums to go. I forgot to do that, so I had to go back in later and draw in my gums with a red shade, but even if you made a mistake like me, don't worry about it. Everything's fixable. Alright, and this is just me drawing in my gums because I forgot to leave a space like I told you previously. I'm just drawing in my gums, and yeah, that's about it really. Alright, so back to our teeth. I took a felt tip eyeliner pen and started outlining each individual tooth. Now this is where I really start making the shape of how I want my teeth to be. Whether or not the teeth that I mapped out are actually the shape I'm drawing with my eyeliner pen, it doesn't really matter, because with that eyeliner pen, I'm just going to really start making shapes of my teeth, if that makes any sense. What I did with my teeth is I made them curve around my face. So I made the teeth curve inward, if that makes sense. If you look at each tooth I'm drawing, I'm making them kind of curve in towards the center of my lips, where my lips part. And that's because I wanted it to look realistic, as if it was actually on kind of a snake mouth. If you could picture a snake mouth, they would kind of curve around like that. So that's all I did. If you don't want to do it that way, that's totally fine. You can make them straight or however you want, but this is just what I decided to do. Okay, so after I got done outlining all my teeth, I took a slanted eyeliner brush and I filled in the gap in between each tooth with black. So make sure you really get in good in between each tooth and fill it in with black, because we want it to look like it's kind of dark, like it is in the inside of your mouth. If you want, when you get done filling in all those spaces, you can go back over your tooth with a yellow color just to make it pop a little more, which I did, but I just didn't show it in the video because it's really boring. So If you want to make it pop more, just go back in and fill it with the color you shaded in your tooth with. All right, now that we're done with the mouth, let's move on to our eye. So I took a flat brush and the color Morello Cherry by Makeup Forever, and I started shading in the inner corner of my eye with that really dark maroon color and then mixed it with some black. I really wanted that kind of inner corner eye part that kind of meets the bridge of my nose really dark. The darker you make that inner corner part, the deeper it looks in your face. So that's why I wanted it dark. I just really wanted that part of my eye, and actually my whole eye, to look like it was really sunken in and, you know, gross. So that's why I made that really dark. And then I just started shading in my whole lid with that black and red color mixed together all the way up to my eyebrow. I even colored over my eyebrow because since it's covered up anyway, it really doesn't matter. Make sure you blend really well too. As you can see, I'm not making everything totally dark. As I'm going out towards the corner, the outer corner of my eye, I'm kind of blending it out. So it goes from a really dark color from the inner corner of my eye to a lighter shade of black and red as it reaches the outer corner of my eye. So make sure you get a lot of shading in. So on your lower lid, you really want to start shading that out too. But that crease you have on your lower lid, make sure you have that really dark because it just gives it an added effect. I don't even know how to describe it. It just looks really cool. What I did on top of my head is where my eyebrow begins in the, like toward the bridge of my nose, I pulled out that line. So if you wrinkle, like kind of make an angry face, you have that V that sticks out from the top of your nose. I just shaded that in, if that makes any sense, God. And then I just took that color all the way around and made a semicircle. You don't really have to do that because I'm going to paint it over with green anyway, but if you feel like doing it, that's fine. I just painted it green and then started outlining it with black with the same felt tip marker that I used to outline my teeth. All right, so here I just took a flat brush, went into my Morphe 35K palette, picked up that brown color, and started from kind of the center of my nose and then brought it out and made a fake cheek because when clowns smile, you can kind of see that cheekbone. And then I took that same brown color, made some smile wrinkles on the corners of my mouth, and then darkened the inside of those corners with a black. Make sure you shade it really well because that'll give the illusion of an actual smile wrinkle. And it just, look how creepy it looks. It's just so much cooler when everything's dark. But yeah, make sure you shade in the inside really well and then kind of extend it toward your mouth, you know, like around the edge of your mouth just a little bit. And then we can move on to the next thing. All right, the best way to make wrinkles on your forehead is to raise your eyebrows and just make as many silly faces as you can. And that's actually the best way I figured out how to do it. And then when you figure out which way you want your wrinkles to go and which face is the best way, start shading it in with a very light brown, or if you have only black, just shade it in with black, but make sure you only use a little bit because we don't want it too dark. This was my favorite part. Liquid latex. So I just got a triangle makeup sponge and threw some liquid latex in a bowl, dipped my sponge in the bowl, and started putting that liquid latex on the empty space on my face where there's no paint or anything. And then, oh yeah, and make sure all your hair is out of the way because once you pull this off, you're gonna rip out so much hair. And then I started patting on the cotton pad onto my face, but you can see it started pulling up the latex, so I figured out that's not a very good idea. So I started shredding the cotton and sticking it on my face, which worked out a whole lot better. Okay, so when you have the cotton in all the places that you want your cotton, go over it with liquid latex again and then add another layer. I did not show me putting on the second layer because it's just like what I'm doing right now, and I just didn't want to put you through that whole spiel again. Okay, so let's move on to the top of our forehead where our eyebrows are. If you're going to put latex over your eyebrows, please, please, please make sure you use spirit gum on your eyebrows and glue them down first. If you don't, that latex is gonna just rip out every single hair in your eyebrows. So it's gonna be awful, it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna regret everything you just did. So after you spirit gum your eyebrows down, you can repeat the process that we did on the lower half of our face on the top half of our face. Okie dokie, so after we get done with our liquid latex, we're going to go into our Morphe 35K palette, take a flat brush, go into that black color, and just spread that all in that empty space where our eyeball is. You want that to be completely black. Then take a black paint, I use the Mehron Paradise palette, and a brush, and go into every crater where you put your liquid latex and fill it in with black. We want that to look really deep and just icky. After we finish filling in our craters, take a bigger brush and go into a red color, just a red paint, and then paint on the rest of your liquid latex. So all the raised areas, you want to paint that red. I know that it kind of came out looking burgundy when I first started painting my face, but it's because there was some black paint left on my brush, but don't worry about it, no big deal. Okay, after you finish painting, tear up some cotton pads. And then this is where it's just kind of becomes your own creation and what you want. You want it to look like there's skin webbing over your eye. So there's really no wrong or right way to do this. Basically, all I did was stuck some liquid latex and cotton where my eyebrow would be and drug it down to where my cheekbone is, and kind of started pulling it apart and sticking it in random areas. That is the best way to do stuff like this. Don't try and make it neat, just try and make it as messy as possible. The messier it is, the cooler it looks. So just make sure it kind of looks like a grotesque spider web and you'll be just fine. Also, take some webbing from the bridge of your nose and stick it to your cheek, and really make sure you get some really cool webbing on that edge of the mouth where we didn't finish painting the rest of our mouth on. So it kind of looks like that whole side of your face was just completely shredded. All right, and then when your liquid latex has dried, go ahead and paint over that with a red color because we want it to look really irritated and sore and gross. Right, and after painting, we're just going to take some Graftobian blood gel and put that in all the craters of our face and use that Q-tip and paint any white space that we might have left over with that blood gel, and you are good to go. Alright guys, that is it for our creepy killer clown tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I love doing looks like this. You know I do. I mean, when it involves blood and gore, you know I'm in. So, I really hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe and happy, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.